Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about this real quick, because I was thinking about it. And you know what? This too goes to what I'm saying. How she made a deal, man. They protect their own, even while locked up, even while in prison. Even while in prison, they'll help. They'll be told to help them out as much as they can while they're in prison. And you want to know what? I heard from more than one inmate. Well, they say they were inmates with her that have corresponded with me. And I also saw some videos or some shorts on YouTube or on TikTok or something when she first got out. How women in there were talking about, they even kind of, the guards and stuff, even kind of babied her, like, treat her like, to go with the narrative. Well, she was abused, She was abused by her awful mother and her evil boyfriend before she came here. So let's cut her some slack. Because I want to talk about this, guys. I remember when 1980 Millennial Commentates and Into the Weeds, I can't remember if it was both of them together or one or the other. Back before this last tranche of information they got and all these videos and shit. At one point they had, when they were getting all the emails and all this stuff from the prison system, I guess, they had her disciplinary things, all her write-ups and stuff. Some of them are pretty serious. Now, I'm just recalling what I recall. I remember off the top of my head. I might be a little bit wrong about some of them, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And she never goes to confinement for it. She never goes to confinement for anything. All right? Let's talk about the more serious ones. She actually falsely accused another inmate of sexually assaulting her. Now, I can't think of a more disrespectful, more fucked up thing to do while you're locked up with other people, is to falsely accuse them. And guess what, guys? In the prison systems, they take sexual assault pretty seriously now. They really do. And they freak out and make a big deal about it. You don't go falsely accuse someone of that. And then you don't get in trouble? How about this? She was written up for smoking in the cell and sending the fucking fire alarm off. Now, as far as I know, in prisons, they don't smoke anymore. Maybe they still do in some, I don't know, but I don't think that's allowed at all anymore. And she's setting fire alarms off, and they knew about it because they showed that it was. She didn't go to confinement for that. She violated count on at least 2 occasions. That's a serious infraction. You're violating the count. You're fucking up the count. That's serious, man. Again, guys, let's go back to, I always got these little things in my life. I've told you guys this before. My oldest daughter is a correctional officer in men's prisons. She's only worked in men's prisons. And violating the count is a big deal. She told me the most important thing they do all day, this is what they're taught in school, even more important than feeding them. Yeah, I know. The most important thing they do all day is the count. And they count them like 6 times a day. All right? Because, they have a responsibility to the community and everyone else that these people are locked away, and aren't running around. Okay, so the count is the most important thing. You don't just violate it somehow. I don't know how she did, but there's 2 of them. All right? Getting a tattoo. That's another big deal one, guys. To get a tattoo, they don't sell tattoo guns at the fucking canteen. You got to steal shit in there. I think they use the inside of a stapler. The spring, they pull the spring out, and they light it, and then they can pull it out, and it makes needles. Then you got to get a battery-operated thing, like something. I think they use like the electric razors or something with the motor on it to make a tattoo gun. And then it's blood. It's tattoo. There's blood all over the fucking place. HIV, hepatitis C risk, hepatitis B, all this shit. You're not supposed to do tattoos. She gets caught doing that, doesn't go. I heard she was fucking male guards in there. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I even heard it so far she supposedly gave one of them fucking herpes or something. Now, I don't know that to be true, but I remember hearing that way back several months ago. Now, And they were saying that they treated her, the guards, like this is what I was been told, that like babied her even, like, well, you know, she's abused, she's been abused, you know, like half these bitches in here haven't been abused, half these women locked up weren't abused as children, you know, and then be and abusive relationships and everything else. But you know, poor Gypsy. Okay, so if that's true, what was going on there, that should tell you there. This is another thing that shows you. Yeah, they were called and told. Just let her do her thing, man. Just you know, let her do her thing. Just like when she got out, parole. They got the call. Let her do her thing, man. Just let her do what she wants. No one else would have got away with any of that shit on parole. No one. Come on, you guys. This is just more evidence that she actually did make a deal, sacrificed her mother, and that's why she's handed all this shit. And that's why she gets all these passes. That's why she just does what she wants. That's why she has people speaking for her. That's why she gets one opportunity after the next. Now she's got a podcast. Now she's got that account, TikTok account back. Now she's got another one going. She got people that speak for her. Bree and Sheena speak for her. They put up distractions for her all the time. Wake up, you guys, is exactly what I said, man. It's a Luciferian sacrifice. It's a traditional sacrifice. And yes, she mutilated her mother's genitals, and she cut her throat from ear to ear, and they drained her blood, and she drank of the cup of the blood of the sacrifice. And I stand by that. That autopsy, you can't, those are fake. You guys, they figured out what the narrative was going to be to put it on Nick and off of Gypsy, and then they built the autopsy around it. Those photos are altered, fake. That might not even be her. Who knows? Or they could do anything. They've had artificial intelligence before any of us were even born, guys. Okay? We're dealing with the maniacs that run this whole world. None of that autopsy is true and real. I don't know. I'm going to have to make a whole video on this, I guess. Some of you still won't believe it. I know we should be able to accept FOIAs and autopsies as true and real and factual. And when you're having a discussion or an examination or whatever, you should, and it's horrible. It's horrible that you can't always. You should be able to trust that it's factual and everyone stipulate that this is true and real. Let's go from here. But there's cases where you can't do that, and this is one of them. Because these people run the world, they rule it. The very first thing Lucifer and them made sure is they're the ones that started the law and lawyers and all this shit, you guys. Man, I gotta make whole videos on this. Of course they're infiltrated, and they got, man, every district's got judges, attorneys, police, everything that are in the club, or at least adjacent. They get paid when they're given orders. They protect their own, all right? Of course they're going to be at the head of the law and everything. Everything was fake and a cover-up about that, guys. You cannot trust the autopsy. Those autopsies are fake. She slit her throat from ear to ear. They drained her blood, and she drank part of it. Okay? Genital mutilation is a clitoridectomy. Removal of the clitoris. Okay? It's a huge thing. It goes all the way back. Genital mutilation is an old thing. It's nothing new. Okay? And that's part of a torture ritual too. Okay? And we were told that they did that. And he's running around saying that he made her look like... Now, that doesn't mean that besides them removing the clitoris, as disgusting as that sounds, that they did all this other shit. I heard that they did. But that doesn't mean that they left it all, you know... He said like ground beef. That's disgusting, but... Doesn't mean that that's true. But those pictures are fake, guys. You can't count anything in there. That doesn't even look like a real autopsy. A real autopsy is a big fucking thick thing, man. That's a flimsy little bullshit put together to do their narrative and sweep it under the rug. That's all that was, guys. Is the whole thing's fake, man. She cut a deal. That's it. Once she cut the deal, that's it, man. They set it in motion. Okay, guys. This is what happened. You cannot count on the autopsy. I'm sorry. 99.5% of the time you can. You can. All right? But this is one of them you can't. And y'all Most people do not fuck up and get caught in their sacrifice in that. That's why they set up scapegoats. And they were able to mostly put it on him. But again, she was supposed to kill him after it looked like he raped and killed Dee Dee and then raped her and was trying to kill her. Then she would have been the hero, the hometown hero, and been famous right away. You guys, that's how it was supposed to go. But she fucked it up. She didn't kill him like she was supposed to. And again, once again, saved by the softie. I believe it's because he couldn't get an erection. He couldn't ejaculate in her. Because they needed his semen to rub on Dee Dee and on her. Guys, that is why they kept... The detective was asking Nick, you sure you didn't touch Dee Dee down there? You didn't hurt Dee Dee down there? You sure you didn't do anything to her down there? Are you sure? No, but Gypsy wanted me to. Of course Gypsy wanted him to. And it's because they wanted him to cop to it, and that would match the genital mutilation that was down there. That would match it. And then his whole trial would have focused on that. They would have had pictures of what it really looked like, Dee Dee spread eagle up there for the whole jury to see, and they would have went on. And who knows, they probably would have tried to give that poor boy the death penalty, to shut him up forever. And that would, but they wouldn't. He wouldn't cop to it. He looked disgusted by it. What are they going to do with that? So then they have to cover it up, and you can't see that. You can't see she was cut that way because they lied and tried to say that she bled internally. If she bled internally, that means one of those stabs in the back would have punctured a cavity and the blood would have flown into the cavity, which means 4 days post-mortem, she would have been black and blue from head to toe from a process called post-mortem libidity. There was none of that because the blood was drained from her. That's why she just still looked peach and red modeling 4 days later, because they drained the blood out of you. That's why they drained the blood out of you and put formaldehyde and shit back inside of you for the viewing, so you're not all black and blue and look like shit and smell and are falling apart. They removed the blood. The whole autopsy is a lie. None of it fits anything that really happened. It's all a lie. And I'm sorry but you had that, but this is the truth, guys. They cut her throat from ear to ear and nearly cut her fucking head off. And they drained her blood and they drank of it. And they mutilated her genitals down there, which is at the very least a clitoridectomy. They even do it with Muslims. I told you guys Lucifer started Islam, that was bullshit. Disguised as Angel Gabriel. Well, actually his little wife, Aisha, told him, oh, that's the Angel Gabriel, Muhammad. Well, it was actually Lucifer tricking him. And that whole religion is a Luciferian. Okay? They don't know it, but it is. And part of it includes the genital mutilation of girls and women. The orthodox, the real hardcore ones. Look it up. That's what they do. Okay? Mutilate those genitals on the women. Okay? And that's what happened, and I stand by that. Because I know it's the truth. You can't trust anything with that investigation. You can't trust anything with any of those people. They knew where the body was on the 11th, guys. They knew where the body was on the 11th. They had to wait till the 14th to have the right medical examiner on staff. That's a big area. Springfield, Missouri. They waited for the right medical examiner. That's the only reason. They knew where that body was. Damn it, man. And they were also given a couple days to get their shit together, how they're going to do this. They needed an adjacent medical examiner, and that's what they waited on. Someone that will do whatever they want to be paid, and they don't ask questions. And that's what they waited on. And the reason they went, and they prompted Gypsy to make that message on Facebook, to give them a reason to go back to the house and to go to and do all that. Well, that's why we'll never see the messages between Gypsy and David Blanchard. And guess what, guys? They immediately got her records, phone records, and Nick's records. And on those records, they would have saw all the correspondence with David Blanchard. And everything I'm telling you is true. And of course, they're covering it up because it's a one big cover-up. We can never see those messages between David Blanchard and them. Because it will be him and Kim instructing her on all this shit, just like I told you. This is exactly what happened, man. And I'll see you guys in the next video.